कृते च द्वन्द्वानि कदा शान्तानि कस्य वः एवं ज्ञात्वेह निर्वेदात् भवत्यागपरो वृत्तिः तस्यापि तात धन्यस्य लोकचेष्टावलोकनात् जीवितेच्छा बुभुक्षा च भूत्सोपशमं गताः कृताकृते द्वन्द्वानि. So things to be done, not to be done. Sukha, dukkha, mana, apamana. As regards to this, nobody can accomplish perfection. Even Dharmaraja, who literally lived dharma, had committed few mistakes. If a person of his stature can't live totally dharma, means it is difficult. But krita, krita, dharma, adharma, things to be done, not to be done, are not end in themselves, they are only the means. The root, that means the root cause for taking to dharma and adharma is desires. Desires prompt one to take to karma. Karma means you have to abide by the rules. So that is this krita and akrita, that is dharma, adharma you have to follow. So So this cannot be lived, that is totally imperfection. Also, sukha dukkha. With respect to sukha, dukkha, mana, apamana, all these, what is our goal? Avoid dukkha, avoid apamana, always take to sukha, mana like this. One aspect we want to avoid totally, other we want to have in totality. Here also perfection is not possible. No one in this world is the one who has got total happiness or total sorrow. So therefore, this pursuit is something which is not worth striving for. And from that standpoint, nirveda means indifference, because this person is in for some higher pursuit. When the person takes to higher pursuit, other things have no relevance. From that standpoint, nirveda, another thing, it is said that you are so, avriti asi, means you have discovered this fact as such, and you are least concerned about this on the basis of the anubhava, the experience that the shishya has displayed. It is clear that that means the student has totally come out of these paths of opposites, and he has nothing to do in this entire creation. So therefore it says tyaga paraha, that gives rise to tyaga. Now certainly there is some difficulty. This nirveda is not possible for all. The commotion in the morning has already shown us, is it not? So yes, it is so. That's why I say it's because it needs lot of maturity. That's why he has not told that you give up. You all can't give up. That's why I think the last year session I had told, Ashtavakra Gita is not a text for masses. It is not meant for all and sundry. I also told, I am teaching so many higher, that means texts with the in-depth, that means analysis, etc. But Ashtavakra Gita I have not taken so far. Last year only I took it. Last 17 years or so I am teaching. I had not taken. Since 10 years back there was demand. Swamiji, why don't you take Ashtavakra Gita? Why don't you take Ashtavakra? It was there. But I totally refused to take this because certain maturity, certain understanding of that in-depth analysis of Vedanta and certain preparedness of the mind is necessary. It is not a text to be taken to masses. Even here, see, before enrolling for this camp, few are there who have not exposed to Vedanta to that extent. To them I first tell, look, this text is like that. And especially I draw their attention like this. In this text, karma, bhakti, upasanas, these are discarded. But they have got a role to play, because a person who needs them, discard them, will be nowhere. Trishanku Swarga. So therefore, from a certain level they are discarded. So if you don't understand, doesn't matter, but don't carry any misunderstanding. You can ask, first thing I tell them, if you have no proper exposure to Vedanta, if you are not going to carry misunderstanding, then you can come for this. Otherwise, the level of this text is so high as such. So therefore, there is every possibility of carrying misunderstanding with this text as such. Why? This Guna variety is a distortion of Ashtavakra Gita. So you must be knowing what is Guna variety. There is a book with Marathi translation. Somebody has translated that. I don't know why he took some forward or some write up from one of those Guna variety groups. And that is what I have seen. First thing, that Marathi translation is not very authentic translation. If nothing is there, you may take it. But I went through that. The translation is not at all good at all. Something he has done as such. But if nothing is there, you may take it. But it is not the proper translation. Even that write-up from a person of that is the devastating remarks are there, not knowing what it is all about. So like this, there is all possibility of misunderstanding as far as this text is concerned. So this is, in the past, Vedanta means first, what was being seen? As per our tradition of teaching of Vedanta, do you know what is first seen? Adhikaritvam. Adhikaritvam. Nowadays, who cares for Adhikaritvam as such? You see, if Baniyas enter into Vedanta, they will make business out of Vedanta also. So that is the problem nowadays, because their interest of those who teach is elsewhere, and therefore everything goes on in the name of Vedanta. Because Adhikaritva is very important as far as we say. Even at the lower level doesn't matter, because nowadays people don't have value for that. First they have to discover value for Vedanta, then take to the pursuit of Vedanta. Fine, that's it. But texts like Ashtanga Gita are not meant for this purpose at all. Because actually there is no direct teaching at all nothing but declarations only. If you take Ashtanga Gita keep in front of you and start from Tattva Bodha onwards, that's another variety, that's okay, that's a different thing. We can't say. Why think there are things meant for that purpose? See, for student at elementary level, there are books. I think I told you once, not here I think. See, at Andheri, I was taking Bhagavad Gita, olden days. One gentleman, I don't know, he claims to be from Vileparle area. Swamiji. So I have read and studied Ashtanga Gita. I said, very good. He started from Ashtanga Gita, okay, that's very good. Then Aparokshanubhuti I finished, nice. Then I am now listening to Atma Bodha. Acha, that's very fine. Okay. Then what? He said, he asked me, are you going to take Tattva Bodha? I have not heard Tattva Bodha. I laughed when I heard, I understood what it said. I laughed. Anyway, I said, politely, I told him, I have no plan to take Tattva Bodha. I said, nothing of it. First he heard Ashtanga, then Aparokshanubhuti, then now hearing Atma Bodha, and he wants to listen to. So I have finished PhD. Master's already over. Only KG class now I am taking. So that is what it is. So anyway, so therefore, so what I am telling is, understand the level of Ashtanga Gita. Don't carry wrong notion. In fact, when I read that Marathi foreword in that book, I said, so the way is that, because there are few healthy persons, what do you do? Burn the hospitals, pull down the nursing homes, and throw away the doctors, because few people don't need medication. That's what it's not. So it is what is not meant here. So it is not asking us to throw away, that means discard kartavya, karta dharma, no. So here is a person who doesn't need them, and he is the ideal person. Everyone has to specify oneself in course of time to that, because final goal, what is there in life, that is to be kept in mind. Otherwise, dharma, adharma are made, the basis for that is desire. But when desire, see, and in the case of animals, desires are not that, they are the instinctive in nature. So they did not put forth special effort, choice, etc. is not there. Everything is programmed as per an instinct. But human being is not so. So he has got the faculty of choice to exercise. So therefore norms have to be given. So therefore dharma, adharma is in the context of karma. Karma is in the context of desire. Desire is because all is not well with you. Now here is Vedanta, which is pointing out to you that not all is not, everything is well with you. You are nothing but the one Ananda Sarupa. You don't need anything. The Jagat, you can show thumb to this world, including your body. In that context, all these have no relevance at all. So therefore, try to understand the level of the text. So from there, and therefore, yes, it is difficult. That itself is shown by this next stanza of the Guru. Tata Vasani Kasyapi Dhanyasya. That Kasyapi means, what does it indicate? Like Bhagavad Gita, you know, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhai Yatatamapi Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tattvataha. Kasyapi, one in many. So one in many can have such indifference because he has nothing to get from all that the world can offer, whether you live a life of dharma, avoid a dharma, fulfill the desires, act at highest peak, etc. Nothing to be gained.
So therefore, Tata Osani Kasyapi, that shows the rarity of such people. Actually, he is not enjoining it. He says, there is some person, one in a million as it were, is of this variety really, that is worthy of praise. That is what he means. That is, he commends such person and he is not enjoining such a thing. Kasyapi Tata, what is it? Dhanyasya, and who is that person? Really a blessed person. Dhanya. Dhanya means the one who has really accomplished what is to be accomplished in life. So a blessed variety. So because of such other thing, even this is possible because one's own life lived in accordance to the dharma may not be in this world, in this life, maybe in the past also. Then only it is possible. So therefore that's why Shastra begins with the life of dharma. But that doesn't mean that that is only the goal. That is only the means. Afterwards we have to grow out of even dharma. Dharma is long back discarded. So Kasyapi Tata Dhanyasya, the one who is blessed. So, and who is that person? That is who gives such nirvedata on account of observing the world. So see, there are two varieties. Fire burns. If a child is to know it, what it has to do? Put the finger in the fire and then learn. By seeing, others also can learn. There are two varieties. Either you get the blow and then learn, or by observing others you can know. So here is a rare person who, instead of plunging oneself in these karmas, etc., by a minute and impartial observation of the world, knows for certain that these are not the things that I have to, that means these are not the things which can be the ultimate goal of life in my case. So therefore, loka cheshta avalokana. So avalokana, by a minute observation without any partiality, without any prejudices, etc. So with an open mind, observing what? Loka cheshta. Loka cheshta, that means activities of the people, what the people are, that is what the people are in for, what all they do, what they aspire for, finally what actually they give. So all having analyzed all this. See, now in the world, this isn't what full of sukha, dukkha, etc., janma, marana, etc. That this world is full of that, not that one has to undergo oneself. By seeing others also one can. So one can take lessons. Can you hear? Very good. Right. I don't want to increase my volume. That's it. प्लग निकालना, ये बाजू का नहीं, वो नहीं कहते। हाँ ठीक है। So loka cheshta avalokana, that is observing whatever that is done by the people. One takes lesson, and as a result, जीवितेच्छा, बुभुक्षा, बुभुत्सा च उपशमं गताः. Open the windows also. See, it got scared of you. जीवितेच्छा, बुभुक्षा, बुभुत्सा च upashamam gataha. In the case of such person, all these have ceased to be there. What are those things? Jivitecha. Jivitecha means desire to, be careful now, okay? Desire to live long, longevity. Desire to live long, that means desire for the life for a longer and longer period. So, Swamiji, how is it possible? Huh? If we have no desire to live, what will happen? Okay. Why you want to live? You
You means effort. Don't take personally. General question. I have to say I and you only. No, otherwise no, you should know the way of teaching. Otherwise, I know a great Mahatma. He was teaching. Right? One of my colleagues I asked, I heard such and such great master. I have heard. How did you find him? I have never seen a person so arrogant like him. I have exposed this master for many years. I know what he is. I was a little surprised. I didn't say, how do you say so? He said, you don't know. Before him I was there. Okay. You don't know. At such and such Maidan he was talking and taking 18th chapter, and I happened to be there. I heard. Do you know what he says? So, and I said everything had surrendered to me. He says, who is this person to asking us to you are everything is surrendered to me. Who is this person who can ask that? He is such a great person that we have to surrender to him. I understood. 18th chapter, certainly Sarva Dharman Paritejya Mamekam Sharanam Raja was going on. Because I have heard that master, I know well. So therefore, that means when he has to teach, that means having the surrender to me means what? That the speaker is identifying with whom? Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, not Mr. Krishna. In that case also, don't take Mr. Krishna, Vrindavana Vihari or Murli, etc. Not that way. As Ishvara Tattva. As Ishvara Tattva has said that the teacher has to say so. So like this, so when I have to say you means don't take it. At times I may be a little sarcastic also. Swamiji, somebody said, they said it says, some little sarcasm was there. Swamiji, why you all the time you point out to me only? the teacher never met, but this fellow had those problems in the mind. So why do you point out to me only? There's nothing personal here. It is general. Everything because this knowledge, etc. Okay. So I say, why you want to live? There are people who want to live forever, but when the things go wrong in life, then what they say? Oh Bhagavan, why are you cruel to me? Why don't you take me away? Take me away. Where to take the fellow away? So therefore, we want to live not simply for living's sake. What is that? We want to live happily, free from sorrow, etc. Happily means we have got so many desires to be fulfilled. So the desire for longevity is for bhoga. It is for bhoga. But the basic mistake lies there in your desire for bhoga, because you are disowning your Ananda Swarupa. You are disowning your, that means Swarupa, which is Amrita Swarupa, free from birth and death, and sticking to all these things and then aspiring for this. That the problem is there. So therefore, here is a person who says, why do I need the body? So because he has discovered himself the Ananda Swarupa, the body has served its purpose. The attitude of course not that he has got hatred towards the body. The attitude of gratitude, thank you. In spite of all the shortcomings in you, you have served my purpose. All the gratitude, attitude of gratitude towards the body is there. There is no jiviti ichha. Desire for life means to live long also is not there. Bubhuksha. So that is all is upashamam gataha. Bubhuksha, desire for enjoyment. Bhoktum ichha bubhuksha, because jivita ichha is for bubhuksha and bubhutsa. See, why the person has got that desire to live long? Because he has got desire for bubhuksha. Bhoktum ichha. Bhoktum ichha means desire to enjoy the sense object. Okay. So he has no desire for, why? See, jivita ichha also. Okay, jivita ichha how long? Let us see. Bhagwan came. So and he asked, so I want to live long. Okay, I will grant you, but how long you want to live? 120 years? Is he ready to die after 120? Or 300 years? You know, Hiranyakashipu asked for the boon. What do you know what boon he had asked for? He invoked Brahmaji and asked for the boon. Do you know what was that? I want Amaratva, immortality with this body. You know what Brahmaji gave the answer? He said, sorry, I myself don't have it. With the body, I myself is not immortal. It is just not possible. Then he thought that, so I can bypass the laws, bypassing the laws how? So he said, means I should not have death this way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. He thought that he covered everything, but loopholes were there and he was trapped afterwards. That's how it was. So that is jivitecha. So bubuksha, bhoktum ichha, because the desire for sense enjoyment is there, that everybody wants the jivita. So that's why, if the things are not going properly in life, nobody has the desire for longevity. So therefore bubuksha, that also upashamam gata, that means is no more there. Why? Because here also by loka cheshta avalokshana. So by seeing the world, he has come to a conclusion. No one, however great the person may be, can ever be contented by sense enjoyment. That's why Samarth Ramdas Maharaj says, Jagi sarva sukhi asakona aaye. Means, is there a person in this world who can say all is well with me, I am happy, etc.? Just not possible. Bubuksha also. Bubutsa. Bubutsa is bodhum ichha. Bodhum, that is bhoktum ichha, desire to enjoy. Here it is bodhum ichha, desire to know. So why that also has gone? Because there is a limit to which you can know as far as the external world is concerned. What all things you can know? As far as the external world is concerned, in spite of best of the discoveries nowadays, it is just nothing. As far as we've taken into account entire creation, so even though that means scientific discoveries etc. are just nothing, because there is no limit to what one can know as far as the external world is concerned. Best thing is know that principle which is the basis of entire creation. Yasmin vidnyate sarva vidam vidnyatam bhavati. Know the cause, effects are as good as known. So bubutsa, so desire for learning also. See, desire for learning is not there because of not that the person is not intelligent or doesn't want to work. So knowing the futility of that is other types of knowledge, so there is no end to which also. So if this person goes to Himalayas, instead of enjoying the quiet atmosphere there, he'll find out how tall is this tree, why is growing like this, why not at other place. Unless he's a geologist, okay, that's why he has to earn the bread on that is fine. But otherwise, of what use? These are other fad in modern times. The floods of information are stuffed in the brain through mass media, and they think that more you stuff the information in the brain, the more advanced the person is. First find out of what use they are. Whatever useful, certainly learn. Otherwise nowadays, no, especially girls doing home science, but don't know what is the use of tulsi leaf. What remedial, that means remedy, how it can be served as a remedy, etc. Other medicinal values, they don't know. It is cheaply available, freely available, such a thing is just not possible. That means it is not that knowledge is required, but it should be useful. That practical aspect has to be taken into account. Now here is the one who is in for that knowledge which puts a stop to all those yearning in life, all those pursuits because of fullness and no need of anything. So there is the desire for other learning. So therefore that bubutsa upashamam gataha. So it is only a case of a rare person who by just observation becomes wise enough to withdraw oneself from these and discover the ultimate truth, one's own true nature, and be totally happy, free from sorrow forever, free from birth and death. That is what is called as moksha. And the question is,
How is that this jnanis get this freedom from desires? So because they analyze, they don't take the things for granted in life. So this is what it is. Anityam sarvamevedam tapatritaya dushitam asaram ninditam heyamiti nishchitya shamyati. Idam sarvam anityam tatha tapatritaya dushitam and ataha eva asaram heyam ninditam iti nishchitya jnani shamyati. Jnani shamyati. Idam sarvam. Idam sarvam anityam eva is there. Eva also is there. Idam sarvam eva. All this. What is this all this? Idam means idam sarvam drishyamanam. Whatever that is available as drishya. So all these means entire creation. This drishya jagat. Idam sarvam anityam, impermanent in nature. Now see, look, this is not simply to be accepted. You have to find out the truth of this statement. All this jagat which is available as this, he says anitya. Yes or no? Yes? Sure? Now tell me, what you want? Do you want nitya things in life or anitya things in life? Nitya only verbal. You say nitya, but you are running up, all that you are running after is what? Look, I don't use, you simply keep quiet and introspect. You take a paper and pencil and all tabulate. I don't want to see also, okay? Don't show it to anyone else also. You only see all that you feel that I want, whether you have fulfilled or you have not fulfilled, make a list. If you require, take, after going back home, take 10-15 days, etc. Make a list. I'm not joking. Make a list and find out. One by one. Don't tell anyone. I also won't ask at all. So what you are aspiring for, so nitya or anitya. Yes, when you come to Vedanta, you want nitya. Otherwise, all along is nothing but Swamiji, how is it possible? After you are grahasthas, not sannyasis like you, isn't it? So, you are grahasthas, I know, but do you mean to say, that moksha is only for sannyas is not for grahasthas? If that is so, then you have to give up three things. What are those? You should never aspire for happiness in life. You should never aspire for freedom from sorrow in life. You should never aspire for longevity in life. Four things I will say. You are never aspire for freedom from ignorance. Are you ready? If you are ready for that, you can certainly say, Swamiji, that means what? Moksha is only for sannyasi. Even if you don't want, etc. See, even knowing this and that, that's why channel TVs are flourishing. You know. In it, everything is certain. And some will pose as though some observation of the nature and this, how this animal behaves, how that behaves, how that, and the North Pole, how those things are there, etc. Fine, it is nice time, it is how to spend time, that is fine. But what are you actually gaining out of it? It's a waste of time because there is something purposeful you can accomplish in life. That is the discarding that. If we run after this, then what that means, this life is itself a waste, because the human life meant for a particular purpose of this gaining Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, Moksha.
So wherein we certainly take of Ishvara up to the level it is required, but not for other things. In all and sundry, it may not be bad, there are other things also. Negative things also are maybe that flooded in that. But which other things like this, something, okay, sober things, not negative at all, but just your time, have that time, at the right concept of time management. So in other aspects we have the time concept of time management, but not here as such. So lifespan is limited. Within that, the highest that has to be gained has to be, or that is accomplished. So from that standpoint, so there is a limit to all these. So that means what we want to gain is nityam. So that is what we want. So whereas all this drishyamana jagat is anitya, that means the case. So it is not simply knowing, but the goal of life must be accordingly. Otherwise, there is a gap between what I think to be correct and what I actually running after. It should not be. So idam sarvam. That idam sarvam also includes, don't say this entire jagat. That is, we say when jagat means we will exclude our body, start from the body onwards. Nityam or anityam? Anityam. So therefore, make use of the body as a tool, as a sadhana, like a boat to cross the river. But body by itself is not the goal of life. So idam sarvam anityam. Not only that, so one may say, if it is anitya, somehow we have to put up with that, because what can we do? It is its nature. No, not only that, it is infested with all these. What are those? Tapatritaya dushita. It is infested with tapatritaya. Tapatritaya is tapatraya. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika tapas, afflictions. At the physical body level, including the antakarana, adhyatmika, centered around the body. Atmanam adhikritya bhavam adhyatmikam. So Adi Bhautika, environmental is surrounding as such. So things, objects, beings, etc. that are around, from them that is affliction arises. Adi Daivika, the phenomenal powers. So phenomenal powers, because of that, afflictions that come. So this is always there. You can't be totally free from them, because that is their nature. You may take to some extent remedial measures to the extent possible, but totally you can't be free from tapatra. So long as head is there, what will happen? Headache is bound to be there. Nose is there, nose is bound to run. Heart is there, it is prone for attack. So all these are bound to be there. So stomach is there, upset will be there. So like this, you can't totally escape, but you can take precaution to the extent possible. Tapatritaya dushitam. This has been, that means discovered, found by, for, that means personally by this jnani. Ataha eva, for that very reason. So he firmly ascertains the nature of this idam sarvam jagat, like what? As this asaram. So therefore it is, this all is what? Asaram. Asaram means sararahitam, pithless, tucham. It has no worth at all, it is worthless. So worthless because, so really what I want in life, it is not its content at all. Asaram. Therefore it is heyam. Hatum yogyam heyam. So which is fit to be discarded, means not to be attended, not to be, it is not worth running after. It can't be the goal of life. And therefore it is ninditam. Ninditam means censured in the sense naiva adaraniyam, not to be respected at all. Means not to be, that means it's not worth paying attention, that's all. Not to be respected means not worth paying attention. So therefore, so na asaram ninditam heyam nintam iti, in this manner, nischitya, having ascertained this jnani shamyati. Shamyati literally means specifies oneself. Specifies is not consoles oneself. Here means putrapi ichham na karoti. No desires whatsoever with respect to this idam sarvam drishyamanam jagat. Has no hang up at all with respect to anything. So he has total indifference toward this. Another thing is there. What we meet in life is already programmed. How we meet in life is in our hands. Know the fact. What we meet in life already programmed. So therefore, so nothing much can be done except take care of your interest by, that means confronting in such a manner so that you will progress in your higher pursuit of life without getting much afflicted by what you have to face in life, because all this is programmed by past karma phalas, results of action called prarabdha. That being the case, can anyone point out in this world, that is at any stage of life, any person at any stage of life who is totally free from all these pairs of opposites? Even as an exceptional case, not many we don't want, even one is a sample, can anyone point out? Just not possible. If this is the fact of life, why run after something which is next to impossible, and instead of knowing the truth behind that? So therefore say, Kosau kalo vaya kimva yatra dvandvani nondranam. Tanyupeksha yatha prapta varti siddhim avapnuyat. Yatra yatra nrunam dvandvani no santi. Yatra nrunam dvandvani no santi asau kaha kalaha kim va vayaha. Kim va vayaha tani upeksha yatha praptavanti siddhim avapnuyat. Tani upeksha yatha praptavanti siddhim avapnuyat. Yatra nrinam. So in any situation, is in life, nrinam, in the case of the humans. So yatra nrinam dvandvani na santi. So is a question like this. Please point out to me in the case of any person. In the case of any person. So at any place, etc. So at any place, at any time, and any stage of life, a person who is totally free from these pairs of opposite means just not possible. There is not a single individual like that. Yatra Nunam, in the case of these humans, Dvandvani nausanti. Sukha, Dukkha, Raga, Dvesha, Mana, Apamana, all such, that means the pairs of opposites are not at all that type of. So, Asau, that is, Asau Kaha, who is that person who is totally free from Dvandvas? Not only that, what is that Kalaha, what time? Vayaha, that is, Kim Vayaha, Kim Va Vayaha, means who is that person of such variety where Dvandvas are not there? So what is that time when the Dvandvas are not there? What is that age when the person is totally free from the Sukha Dukkhadi Dvandva? Means such a thing is not there at all. So therefore what is to be done? Tani Upeksha. So Tani means Dvandvani. So these pairs of opposite in life, because they are bound to be there. So you have to accept them. And how they are in accordance with the prarabdha. If you go to the ocean and if you want to have a bath, first you have to accept the waves, is it no? Because ocean means waves are bound to be there. And the other said, no, let me wait. When the waves stop, what I will do? I will have the bath. When you will have it? Not possible, because the ocean without the wave is just not possible. Like that, a life, however great the person may be, without sukha dukkha is just impossible. That being the case, so what should be done? A practical person should have this, that means this approach. What is that approach? Tani upeksha. Tani upeksha means those two. Dvandvani upeksha, disregarding, be indifferent toward them. Why? Means accept. Be indifferent means what? Except they are bound to be there. If less sorrows are there, thank your stars. Right? If more sorrows are there, never mind. Think that you are paying for the past things, etc., and as if debt is repaid as such. Have that much of satisfaction. Yes, look here. That should be the attitude. If one gets subjected to sorrows, know for certain we are now, that means repaying as it were because of something done in the past, and it has to be repaid. So sooner the better, so that you can have a, that is carefree, that means a light mind afterward, that I have repaid all this, nothing is no more, nothing is there anymore. So that being the Tani Upeksha means, otherwise what happens? These pairs of opposite in life themselves become a matter of great concern and preoccupation in the mind. And such a mind can never be applied to the pursuit of gaining the knowledge of oneself. So therefore it says, Tani Upeksha means be indifferent, means accept them. See, whatever I have to undergo in life, there is a cause. To the extent you can take remedial measures, do take to that. Shastra doesn't tell that, it says just simply accept. No, it's not a fatalistic philosophy. But certain things do accept where you can't rectify or remedy the situation in spite of your best effort, accept it. There is a cause for that. That is why in Mahabharata, all along you find the phrase, Daivameva baliyasi, Daivameva baliyasi, Daivameva baliyasi. And people think that Mahabharata speaks of fatalism. But nobody cares to, that means, analyze the context and situation where Vyasa has said Daivameva baliyasi. You will find in each and every case where he has said Daivameva baliyasi, it is so after sparing no efforts to set right the situation. Best possible efforts have been put forth in spite of that. That means the particular situation could not be remedied, and there it says Daivameva baliyasi, means keep in mind there is a factor. You have no total freedom. You have got certain freedom in terms of a purushartha effort, but it is guided by some past factor also. Never neglect about that. So that means in spite of the best of efforts, so that being the case, so we may take the measures that are necessary But keep in mind, these are guided or prompted by the past, etc. So therefore there is no that makes much sense in spending our entire lifetime in setting right these things which is next to impossible. So therefore accept them, tanupeksha. So other thing, even it may be a very noble desire also. Noble desire. All people should be dharmic in nature. They should behave according to my wish. Because after all, I'm attending Vedanta, is it not? So therefore, they should behave according to my wish only. Because I am not, no selfishness, I don't have any selfishness. No, I mean, honestly speaking, your desire may be a noble one. But you can't expect the world to conform to your specific, because they also are they have their own values, etc. Best thing is insulate yourself. You can't you can't remedy the world, etc. To the extent is expected of you as a duty, etc. Just do it. But totally you can't set right the world. Better mind your own business in terms of higher pursuit of life. That is what is there, and that's to take to. So tan upeksha, being indifferent, yatha praptavarti. So yatha prapta means not guided by, that is ichha, etc. But as it comes, accept it. As it comes with, in accordance with the prarabdha that comes, accept in the sense, why you accept in the sense? Because this cannot be totally set right, and you are more busy in not that you say, look here, not that क्या करेगा, मुसीबत ऐसा है, हमारा तकदीरिया ऐसा है, इसलिए तो no, not that way. You are very busy in higher pursuit of life. You have no time to attend to this. That's right. It's always like that. In the pursuit of higher things, lower things lose the relevance, even if it amounts to some, that means undergoing some suffering, etc. For example, during the freedom fight, the freedom fighters, those who struggled for the freedom, how much torture, suffering, etc. they had to undergo. Do you mean to say they didn't have wife, children, home and hearth, etc. to care for? Why they should have rot in the prison, etc. Why? Because my country must be free. For that sake they are ready to undergo all these troubles. So that is, similarly, if I have to accomplish the highest goal in life, so I have no leisure to attend to all these small things in life. To the extent possible, yes, I will do it. So therefore he says, so tan upeksha yatha praptavarti, that is in accordance with the one soul prarabdha what is there. So accepting that, siddhim avapnuya. So one gains siddhim. Here siddhi means muktim avapnuya. Mukti in the sense, that is siddhim in the sense, see, by mere upeksha, siddhi, moksha will not come. By upeksha what happens? Mind is freed from the preoccupations in all these, and because of that freedom from all those preoccupations, there is leisure in the mind, and that mind can be applied to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, and thereby that nishtha in the knowledge can be gained, and moksha right now here, Jivan Mukti is possible. So siddhyata, yatha praptavarti, siddhim avapnaya. So instead of this, if the mind is preoccupied in all those pursuits, one cannot apply, one cannot take to such Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Again, one has to be precise in one's own sadhanas, because otherwise spirituality becomes something vague, conceptless. And while other thing, there are hundreds of things available. What exactly is the right thing to be taken to, one is not clear. So therefore,
there also some nirvedata, some indifference must be there with regards to those which are of which are of not much use, and one should be intent on those means which directly take oneself to this goal of life. Nanamatam maharshinam sadhunam yoginam tatha drishtva nirvedamapanna ko na shamyati manavaha. Maharshinam matam nana drishtva. Maharshinam nana matam drishtva. Maharshina matam nana drishtva nirvedam apannaha. Nirvedam apannaha tatha sadhunam yoginam add cha. Sadhunam yoginam cha. Again matam nana drishnana vidham, add them after nana, again nana, then add vidham. Nana vidham matam, matam nana vidham drishtva. Further nirvedamapannaha, again nirvedamapannaha, further you add there kevalam atmanusandhana nishtha. Add this phrase kevalam atmanusandhana nishtha kaha manavaha na shamyati. Kaha manavaha na shamyati. Who is that person who has taken to such disposition and pursuit will not get freed from that all the samsara, will not discover the everlasting Ananda Swarupa? That is the question. Who is that person? The one Maharshinam nanamatam drishtva. Now, our concept of Maharshi is who? For Maharshis, long list can be given, starting from Vedavyasa and all that, is it not? Shukra and all that. So here, because that means what has been told, it has to be confined. Maharshi is like Gautama, Kanada, Jaimini, etc., who speak of Tarka, Nyaya, Purvamimamsa, all these Maharshis. They have to be confined here. Maharshina, so that means Gautama, Kanada, Tarka, Nyaya, Jaiminis, Purvamimamsa, Karmakanda. So all these Maharshina, Nana Matam Drishtva. Drishtva means having analyzed their various views about the nature of the goal and the means of accomplishing them. So those things, Drishtva, having analyzed, as a result what? Nirvedam apannaha. The one who has developed indifference toward them because they don't speak of the final goal of life. However intelligent they may be, however argumentative they may be, however rational they appear to be there, but that is nothing to do with the ultimate goal of life. Further, Drishtva, Tatha, so also, Sadhunam Yoginam Chak, Nana Vidham Matam Drishtva. Again here, Sadhunam. Who is Sadhu here? Not sannyasi or anything else. You have to take in this context. Sadhuna means karma nisthana. Those who advocate that action, karma alone, maybe Vedic also,
So Vedika also, that alone is the only goal of life. Maharshi sadhuna means karma nisthana, yogina, Patanjali yogis. So Patanjali yogi, it is not simply the technique. So their philosophy is that Atma, Brahma is separate and Jagat is separate. Jagat is real, therefore you have to withdraw from the Jagat and make the mind always absorbed in Brahma. This is wrong, because you are ascribing the same degree of reality to Jagat also. They are also called earlier, before Patanjali, they are called as Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means something it goes to Hiranyagarbha as such. That is what is said there. Those yogina means Patanjali yogi who are of the opinion that Jagat is real and therefore you have to always withdraw from the Jagat. So that's why the Laya Yoga was dismissed earlier. So yoginam cha, of those karmanishtas and the yogis, they are nana vidham matam drashtva, having analyzed a person who has nirvedam apannaha. That is what is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Yami mam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipastitaha vedavadarata partha anyadastiti vadinaha vedavadarataha nanyadastiti vadinaha. Vedami stands for all karma kanda and upasana kanda. That itself is the final goal of life. There is nothing higher than that. So such type of people are told here as, so maybe they are Vedikas, they follow Vedas, that is fine, but that itself is not the ultimate goal of life. So therefore, they having analyzed that nirvedamapannaha, the one who has discovered that indifference toward them, but that itself is not sufficient. There in the context we have to add there, K means kevalam atmanusandhana nishthaha. This adhyara is useful there. So kevalam atmanusandhana nishthaha, always engrossed in the appreciation of one's own swarup. That is very important. Otherwise, merely that nirveda will not help totally as such. It is only a step, that means essential step towards further pursuit of, that means gaining the knowledge. So after that, kevalam, that this alone is the goal of life, atmanusandhana nishthaha. Say, such person, the question is asked, say, kaha manavaha na shamyati. If a person has accomplished this, who is that person who cannot have shama? Shama here means na shamyati means sukham na prapnoti. Sukha here is not vishya sukha, the Swarupa Ananda, the Ananda which is one's own true nature. Who will not get it? Means certainly this person is going to gain. So therefore what should be the goal of life? So not wasting the time in all these sundry things. Be precise, and that means precise about the final goal of life and take to that pursuit of knowing one's own swarupa and karma, etc., to the extent necessary to gain shuddhanta karna and chitta naishchalya, take to them. Afterward, they lose their relevance for the inquiry and discovery of swarupa. That being the case, take recourse to atma jnana only. Krutva murti parijnanam chaitanyasya na kinguruhu. Nirveda samataya yuktya yastarayati samsruti. Nirveda samata yuktya. Nirveda samata yuktya yastarayati samsruti. Nirveda samata yuktya chaitanyasya murta parijnanam krutva saha
न किंगुरुहु सहा न किंगुरुहु and एवं विधः एवं विधः यः and सः आत्मानं संस्कृतेः तारयति सः आत्मानं संस्कृतेः तारयति. So endowed like this, how nirveda samata yuktya, it is with the help of these. What is nirveda? That means these things, three things are there: nirveda, samata and yukti. With the help of these three means. What is nirveda? Nirveda is indifference or being disinterested in vishayas. That's what is the nirvedaha nama vishayana sakti. Vishayeshu anasakti, vishayana sakti. Nirvedaha nama. What is meant by nirveda is that a disinterestedness or indifference towards the vishaya. See, look, that is otherwise what we call as vairagya. So vairagya is not that running away, etc. No. Vairagya is a disposition wherein one finds that these vishayas have no capacity, therefore the person capacity to give what I want, therefore the person is least interested in them. So that is nirveda. So that is nirvedo nama vishayanasakti, vishayeshu anasakti. Again, disinterestedness because of limitations and incapacity of the vishayas, not because I am not able to get them. There also is, what is that? Or jackal and the grapes, sour grapes. Not that way. Because I can't get it, therefore they are useless. Not that way. Because that way he has seen the limitations of them and incapacity of giving what one wants in life. So therefore nirveda. We'll see what is the asamata and yukti.